This is the story of Chiron, the soulful healer, seeker, and mentor. He became such an emerging, powerful archetype, and his discovery in 1997 saw a total embracing of alternative medicine, astrology, tarot, healing arts that hadn't really been popular since the turn of the 20th century. The asteroid Chiron was discovered in 1977. Actually, we don't know if it was an asteroid, a planetoid, a minor planet. And that's one of the secrets of Chiron. He's always in between. He's a bridge to the other worlds. And he operates in a shamanic, shape-shifty kind of way. He forms a bridge to the other worlds because Chiron is literally placed in the sky between Saturn, the edge of reality, and the outer planet Uranus, which kind of represents the future, the new world. Chiron represents that journey of the soul when you're going between places. The story of Chiron comes up in Greek mythology, and he was born to Kronos, who is Saturn, and Philae, an Oceanid, and kind of a hybrid breed herself. The story goes that Saturn turned himself into a horse to try to have sex with Philae, and the result of that shape-shifting conception meant that Philae gave birth to Chiron, half man, half horse. So Chiron was born as a god, immortal, but with the intelligence of a human and the instincts of an animal. Anyway, Philae, his mum, totally freaked out when she saw him, put him in a basket and dropped it off in the river. But little baby Chiron was in luck when he was found on the river and fostered to Apollo, the radiant, easygoing sun god who specialised in music, poetry and the arts, and creative illumination. Apollo was the ideal role model for Chiron, who was a god abandoned as a misfit. And the sun, Apollo, has the way of developing out your self-belief and your personal identity. And it's these themes in Chiron's early years that make Chiron associated with rejection and abandonment, with being an outsider, and with being fostered, adopted, or to really find your self-identity outside of the family traditions or roles or expectations. Apollo and his absolutely fabulous twin sister Artemis taught Chiron really valuable skills about hunting, healing, and wilderness survival. And Chiron loved to learn. He was always curious and searching for deeper answers. This time during his fostering was his ninja training. Chiron was always different to the others. He was a centaur, but he was different to other centaurs. He had soul and morals. He asked questions. Even in his own tribe, he was an outsider. They were extrovert, hung in drunken rowdy groups, and lived for the moment. Chiron was introvert, preferred his time alone, i.e. he lived in a cave on Mount Pelion, away from the others. And he studied philosophy and the mysteries of the universe. He became a respected healer, teacher, and mentor. But he's also known as the wounded healer, and it's a huge part of his archetypal energy. Wherever you have Chiron in your chart, you have the potential to develop the deepest, most soulful healing. The story of Chiron's wound really starts with his rejection, being born basically of a rape, and although his mother found him unlovable, he was taken in and cared for by probably the best people in the Greek world at the time. But Chiron's physical wound comes from one of the drunken parties of the centaurs. They were out of control and having competitions, and Hercules had turned up and accidentally wounded Chiron in the thigh with an arrow tipped with poison. In one of those ironies of Greek mythology, Chiron himself had made that poison out of the blood of the Hydra. Hydra was a creature with multiple heads, and every time you cut one of those heads off, another one appeared. And this is a symbol for that wound that won't fix. It tries different shapes. Every time you attack it through the head, the wound reappears. So Chiron's wound really is an existential wound of the soul. And now with an arrow in his thigh, the physical pain made him go out and seek from others. He searched all around the world for a cure. He learned every single thing you can learn about healing. All the young warriors and misfits and outcasts and those needing restoration came and hung out with Chiron and learnt from him. And because of his travels and his studies, Chiron is the one that's attributed to bringing all sorts of alternative healing. Knowledge of crystals, herbal medicine, sound medicine, homeopathy, acupuncture, kinesiology, astrology, everything that crosses two worlds. A strong Chiron in your chart can also indicate where you're a good healer, where your own experiences and hard knocks have given you resources and insight and in some way brought you to your more authentic self. In the end, the pain in Chiron's thigh was too much, and he probably spent a few thousand years looking for a cure. And that final stage of accepting, sometimes you just have to live with the wound. Chiron came up with an idea. In another part of Greece, Prometheus had stolen fire from the gods and given it to humanity. And although it was one of the greatest gifts that ever happened to people, bringing light, illumination and warmth, the gods punished Prometheus by tying him to a rock and having an eagle eat out his liver every day. So Chiron, being wise and now fully accepting of his situation, made a deal to swap places with Prometheus. Let him be tied to the rock. Prometheus can go free, let the eagle come down, eat his liver, and end this whole immortality stuff. Surprisingly, the gods agreed. And so we get that little blessing at the end of Chiron's story that says when you sacrifice yourself, you can bring illumination to others. And because he was one of the few creatures in the Greek world with integrity, he was given a place in the sky, his own constellation, Centaurus. In astrology, Chiron is one of the keys to your soul path, the place you have the deepest wound, and the place that offers you the greatest healing. Even Chiron's symbol is a key. Chiron's a beautiful energy to work with. It bridges two spaces. It makes everything possible. It's fluid, it's trans, it's non-binary. If you'd like to look at Chiron in your chart, contact me through my website www.merylkey.com and we can arrange an asteroid and astrology consultation. Look at your soul path and the way you can transform that into your greatest healing. I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Like, follow, share and subscribe.